Hi, this is Bob Grant under the You Ask, I Answer section. And for this question, I'm going to address that someone sent in, which is, how do I know if he likes me? And my first response to that, when I first thought about it was, do you really have to ask? But then as I started thinking about that, I realized what they're asking is that they're not talking about the confident guy that borders on cocky and stuff. It's really easy to tell he just approaches you no matter what. I think what you're meaning is some guy that you're not sure with, that you perhaps even get mixed messages about. You think he likes you, but he doesn't pursue you, or he doesn't make it really clear. Well, let me take you inside the mind of a lot of men. And again, when I say this, I'm not justifying it. I just want to give you an idea how a lot of men, at least that I've talked with and even conversed with and talked to other guys in groups, think, is that, at this point in time, and I mean like as a culture, not just in America, but in a lot of different, westernized countries around the world, is that a lot of men are cautious in the sense of not wanting to appear to be too forward or rude or gruff. And in fairness, a lot of men will hide behind that. There are plenty of guys that are aggressive and they'll go for what they want, but a lot of men are more reserved. And part of that issue is that they're afraid of offending. They're kind of afraid of taking a chance. And so a lot of them actually want and need some kind of signal from a woman. And I don't mean you have to make it obvious necessarily, but they're arguably overly cautious. And so, if you're not sure as far as, if a guy likes you, some of the obvious type things has to do with how often he hangs around you, or when he's around you, does he seem to be nervous? Those obvious kind of things. I don't know that you're going to find a certain signal. I know there's folks that are going to tell you their signals. If he looks at you a certain way, if he tilts his head, how much he brings up conversation. Those might apply to some men, at least in my experience with guys. I don't know that you can generalize that. If you're not sure as far as if a guy likes you, I would give you something to try. It's a little forward. But if you're like with him in a room or a group or something like that, now I don't mean to do this in a bizarre kind of way, but actually go stand close to him. I don't mean 2 inches from him, but I mean stand closer to him than you would most people. You don't have to say anything. Just stand closer to him and then watch what he does. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because the biggest key with communicating with men, to get a point across, is to be able to make him feel something. Now, a lot of women like to do this with words. They want to tell him how they feel, share their things, which works great with other women and works with men sometimes. A lot of times it doesn't work. Words just are not that big a deal to men. But if you stand close to him, he will feel nervous. He'll feel nervous whether he likes you or not. He'll feel uncomfortable. If you don't believe me, go stand close to a married man and watch what his wife does. Believe me, he'll feel it. In the course of that, you've sent a really clear signal to him that you're interested. Again, I'm not saying he's going to think, oh, wow, she's standing close to me. Wow, she must like me. Just the fact that he feels it, that will start to stir out the emotions in him that you want. And at this point, so you're not being overly vulnerable. You're not, putting your heart out there. But in the process of doing this, he'll either stay there and maybe initiate, conversation, even if it's awkward, if he's shy. Or if he doesn't, he'll quickly exit because he won't like that feeling. It's a little risky. Perhaps you might get rejected. But to me, it's in a way of doing it which has minimal risk involved because there's perfect, deniability. You didn't do anything. And when I'm saying this, I've had some folks go, oh, that sounds too simplistic. That won't work. My response is, try it. Before you say that doesn't work, before you say, I don't know, try it, because any type thing that I can give you as far as interpretive, the problem with that is that your feelings and your bias tends to cloud that. People that are experts at body language, that takes years to get really good at. There are books and manuals that will tell you this means that and that means that. It's similar to like dream interpretation, but sometimes there's some subtle things that you have to know. That if they raise an eyebrow, this means that. Well, yeah, it means that. If these other things are present, or if this other, if their legs are crossed, arms are folded, aren't present. There's just a bunch of variables that go into it. So instead of giving you things to interpret, what I'm after is giving you something to do that will cause a reaction in him. And that reaction is much easier for you to tell than trying to do hocus pocus interpretations, with the things like the ones I just mentioned, like raised eyebrows and how he tilts his head and stuff like that. So try that. Now, if it's someone that you're not, in the same room with, in general, what happens is, as far as if he likes you, is that as you are available to him, as you are, interacting with him, what's going to happen in time is he's most likely going to want to spend time with you. See, there's a certain part that you can only make it so easy for him. If you're available, if you linger on the phone and talking with him, if you, when you guys have a conversation, there's a good connection, good chemistry, my response to you is that he likes you enough. I don't know on this scale, does he like you like 9 versus 2? But if he's talking with you, if he's interacting with you and he's following up, he likes you enough that something could happen. And that there's a limit as to how much you can do, because, you can make it so easy for him that you're going to come across as desperate. So my thought is, if it's not someone you can actually do the stand next to test, but if you can actually give him some time just by being available, he should be willing to pursue that. And because you can only make it so easy for a man without coming across in a bad way. All right, so that's my sort of long answer on how do you know if he likes you. And if you like this, I have some special reports that I've written just for you. And my probably most popular one is How to Be Irresistible to Men, that I wrote, that gives you some tangible, touchable, practical things that men find just naturally appealing. And it really doesn't matter your age, height, skin color, light, dark, anything like that. It's things that almost universally men find appealing. And I'd love to offer that to you. And when you're really ready to start experiencing the magic that I've been sharing with women for years, I'd love to offer you one of our programs that are written, my guess is just for you and whatever circumstance you're in right now.